My name is Irina Just.
I'm Jim Just.
And I was born in Germany. I grew up in Berlin and then went to Frankfurt University. And after I graduated with a degree in linguistics, German and English, I didn't know what to do with the rest of my life. So I packed up a backpack and went to the United States and hitchhiked around for 2 years.
I'm a poet. I didn't start out that way. I went to, after graduating from university, I went to law school, but I soon discovered that there's no way I was going to spend my life doing that.
After that time, I moved to Seattle, where I found several jobs in my field, teaching and translating and interpreting. I met Jim in 1991 in Seattle.
In Seattle, I was born in Sacramento, but my one ambition in life, other than to be a poet, was to get out of Sacramento. So when Irina said, we immediately ran off.
After 6 months, packed everything up and moved to the south of France for a year. And when we came back, we decided we could not live in the city any longer. That wasn't, we just had so much fun in the countryside and we wanted to change our lives. And also we had lived in the vineyards in the south of France. So we sold the condo in Seattle and bought a farm in Oregon in the Willamette Valley, 30 acres where we grew grapes, Pinot Noir grapes, and we made wine.
We had a native plant nursery where we made money propagating and selling native plants for wildlife restoration projects.
And we also raised sheep and had a forest. It was a really beautiful 30 acres of just about everything. We did it by ourselves, just the two of us. And then one day in the summer of 2012, Jim said, you know, I can't do this anymore. We're getting too old. We are just the two of us working this farm, you know, making firewood, and what was so beautiful is just, we're too old for it. And I said, okay, well, we're gonna go. And he said, well, let's go somewhere where it's warm and where we can afford to live, because we didn't have any retirement, really. And let's look at the atlas and let's narrow it down to a very comfortable place. And we narrowed it down to Central America. And then one day he said, you know, Costa Rica has no army. And I said, that's it, look no more, that's where we're gonna move. We had never been here. We had not checked it out. We did not do our due diligence. We did everything that we were told we should not be doing. People are advised to maybe rent for a year before they buy, and I don't think that's a bad idea. Or move to different areas. That's really more advisable. So we are not a real good example for, well, we are an example for how you should not do it, but it worked out perfectly in our case, and that's not necessarily the case for everybody else. We love it. We have not gone back to the States. We haven't really traveled much. We just love it. We bought 3 acres here. We love having that space and that elbow freedom of not having immediate neighbors here.
I was a farmer. And here in Costa Rica, I mean, to get to grow tropical plants in a place where there's no winter, it's kind of like being thrown into the Garden of Eden. I grow orchids and we propagate plants and we share plants with friends. And a poet just doesn't sit at his desk. You have an idea and you write it down, and then you have to think about it, sometimes for several days. And of course, it's easy to do that while you're working in the garden. It's a very meditative experience, or at least it is for me. So the garden is kind of an extension of my desk. And since I've been here, I've published 4 books of poetry, done the translation of the Costa Rican poet Rosabel Morera's work. I have a studio, so it's a nice life.
I hate to admit it, but I'm not fluent in Spanish, nowhere near. So yes, there were challenges with, banking system and how things are done here, and have to exercise a little bit more patience because Tico time is different from German time for sure, and for American time, where time is money. So that took a little bit of getting used to just how things work. But they were not negative. I mean, they weren't discouraging. They were a little bit frustrating, but not discouraging. And other than that, no harm has come to us. We're more happy than ever to be here.
Life with Irina has always been an adventure, and of course Costa Rica is one of our adventures.